Welcome back to another episode of The Lofty Lender. Today, I've got a very special guest. Today's guest and her family have settled in Waukee, Iowa, after a vibrant journey that took her from roots in Keokuk, Iowa, to pursuing a broadcasting career and chasing Hollywood dreams in Los Angeles. Her return to Iowa to help open a community bank named Bank in Des Moines in 2015 marked a new chapter, where she found a place to call home and ventured into real estate. Marrying Nick in 2020, the same year she embarked on a real estate career, she discovered joy in guiding her clients through significant home and business transitions, deeply valuing the trust and gratitude they expressed. The birth of her son, Brexton Lee, in August 2022 was a milestone that Carly considers her greatest accomplishment, enhancing the fulfillment she finds in her career and community engagement. Grateful for the unwavering support from the Des Moines community, she cherishes the relationships she's built and looks forward to creating more. For Carly, the essence of both her professional and personal life is building trust and nurturing relationships, underscoring her belief in the importance of these foundations. With that, we welcome to the show Carly Pearson.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. First off, I want to get in. We're going to start off right away. Heavy hitters, business and beyond. That's kind of the first segment of this show. I want to understand more about you, your family, and where you're taking this successful business of yours. So I just mentioned, I went over the bank. Tell me, you started Bank here in town. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, well, it was a great experience. I mean, with a bank named Bank, who couldn't find you, right? I moved here in 2015 to help open Bank and was really meant to be a commercial boutique bank. I was the first hire and was just going to do the marketing and the spokeswoman role since my background is TV and I had helped with the bank before. A long story short, Bank was Iowa State Bank in Southeast Iowa, which is where it originated in Wapello, Iowa, a very small rural community, ag-based.
Wow, I'm totally from that area.
I think a lot of us here are. But, there's 6 different charters of Iowa State Bank that aren't affiliated. And so quickly we realized we can't come into the Des Moines market with that name. So jokingly, it's like, well, what if we just call it Bank? And we literally all sat around the table and we're like, well, that's kind of great. That's kind of terrible, but you won't forget it. So we became Bank and the website is bank.bank. And so that is how my journey started in Des Moines. And that's how I started being in the people business from day one here.
That's really funny. That's awesome. So then how did you transition from being at the bank and being in marketing into real estate?
Sure. So, I think part of being in the people business, whether it's banking, real estate, lending, I mean, that's what we do, right? It's relationship oriented. And I created those relationships. I mean, from day one, when I moved to town, I really didn't know anybody here. I'm from Southeast Iowa, but I had no family here or no real connections. And so I drove around the entire community just looking at developer signs, trying to get my foot in the door to introduce myself and bank. And I had a lot to learn. But every time I sat down with somebody, whether it was commercial real estate, a residential realtor, a lender, even outside of bank, I learned something more about this community because this community is so built on relationships. And so I started working with different developers and really helping them finance, whether it be a mixed use building or develop land. And so that's actually how I got into real estate was with Caliber. In 2020, they brought me on and started a boutique brokerage. And I actually sold 2 of their main developments, townhome developments, City View and Chautauqua Park. And I learned so much about new construction. As we all know, 2020, it was terrifying. The day I left, my stability was the day the world shut down. And I thought, oh no, what did I just do? I just got engaged. We were, hoping to build a home and getting married that same year, but it turned out to be the best thing I ever did. And I had so much to learn, but I took those people skills with me. So thank you, Caliber, who is a great builder. I learned so much and really honed in on new construction in 2020.
Oh, that's awesome. So then what is a typical day at a bank? I know what that's like. Being a mortgage lender is basically the same. So what's a typical day as being a realtor?
Oh my gosh, there's no typical days. And I think that's what I love about it. The days that I have really nice structure, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. But the next day is completely opposite. My biggest thing is just having that open line of communication with all of my clients each and every day. And that there's never a start and finish with that for me. I mean, I help people relocate here. I have a couple right now. I'm relocating from Utah. Obviously, our time, different time zones. We talk all the time. And that's just what you sign up for as a realtor. I mean, we get to help people with one of the most important investments in their lives, just like you do. We're lucky we have people like you, Kyle, because it's a relationship that we all want to make the best experience from start to finish. And so my days are never the same. It's not like selling sunset. I don't get to go to lavish lunches. Well, sometimes we get lunch. But it's really just that key interaction all day, every day. And I'm on my client's schedule. I always make time to be a mom. That is very, very important to me. And he is my best assistant and helper some days. But it's just never the same. And I think that's why I love it.
That's awesome. So then, what do you find is the most challenging with your job?
Balancing. I think that as a realtor, we wear many hats. And I think that's also an essence of what I love about it. But it's also really important to me to be a mom and to be there. I think it's important to show work ethic and perseverance. And I know my son will see that. But at the end of the day, I never want him to think I wasn't there. And so I think just finding that balance and, bringing him into what safe work environments and things like that I will do all day long. But I think for any of us, when you're in that entrepreneurial role, it is finding that balance. And I think that's just something we work for every day. And some days we find it, and other days it's completely lost.
Well, you're lucky that he's so young right now. I'll be honest. Quick story myself. I had my 6-year-old. We showed up to parent teacher conferences a couple weeks ago, and the teacher comes up to me and looks at my son and says, "Oh, Calvin, your dad was able to make it to conferences. Aren't you so excited?" And I looked at her like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked at my son and he said, "Well, Dad, you've been working a lot lately, so I wasn't sure you were going to be able to make time for me." And I said, "Oh, no. Like, it used to be, I mean, he sits on his tablet, plays with his tablet or, watches TV, whatever the case may be. And he is doing something, but I didn't realize he noticed that I wasn't sitting next to him because he's
Yeah.
just zoned in on the TV. So that was one thing that took me aback and now makes me stay up even later because then I
Yeah.
work later and I try to stick around and
Mhm.
hang out with my kid a little more. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind as he gets older.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just tough, right? I mean, I think it's great to teach them work ethic and those skills. But at the end of the day, him probably saying that to you is a way for us to kind of put ourselves in check. And I
Yep.
mean, my clients are a priority all day long, but so is my family.
So then that kind of takes me right into my next question. So that was a perfect segue from you. How does your understanding of home and family life impact your vision for helping your clients find their perfect?
I think that's become even stronger since becoming a mom. And also I just recently went through the buying and selling process, which was very interesting, not only being on both ends as the, buyer and seller, but also being the agent for both ends. And with a toddler, I think it just became that much more important to me that I make sure from the start to finish that I'm providing the best experience and best communication possible to my clients because it is such a frustrating and hard process. Literally after we moved in, I looked at my husband and I said, "Can you believe I preach this to people every day?" And he said, "Well, yeah, because you're there to help them." And I just thought, well, yes, that's true, but who was there to help me in this process, And so I think it just made it so clear to me that it's temporary pain for such an important end goal and outcome. And going through that process, when I got into real estate, I remember going through the classes and they say you should move every 3 to 5 years so you know what it's like for your clients to go through it. Well, we won't go that far. But I do think that it is important for us to remember that this is not an easy transaction for people. This is emotional and this isn't just transactional. And so I think becoming a mom and then just going through this buying and selling process personally has completely changed my outlook and even pour into my clients even more than I felt like I was doing before.
That makes total sense, though, as far as realtors moving every 3 to 5 years. I had no idea that that was something you guys were taught because
Yeah.
I look around and I think of how many houses every agent that I know has purchased is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's
A-
really funny.
And it is true because, no deal is the same and the process changes each time. And it's like the one time you think, okay, I got this. It's like the next one's completely opposite and you keep learning, which is also great. But every client and every situation is different.
Awesome. So then, what hobbies or activities do you enjoy outside of real estate to help you recharge?
Oh gosh, I love anything outdoors, outside, anything that has a little, workout to it. My son and I, like my husband and my son, we have so much fun together, just doing nothing almost. Going on walks, being outside. I love a great coffee shop. I love really learning about the community here and promoting and supporting local. I think that that's really important even for us as a lender and a realtor, that to give back to our
Hmm.
community who pours into us to be able to keep doing what we do. And so I do different promotions with small local businesses here in Des Moines, because why not put my time into them when they give to me and my family and provide us with different places to attend and enjoy here. So anything extracurricular outside, working out, coffee, yoga, shopping, and really just being a part of the community.
Awesome. Yeah, let's sidebar that conversation for after today. I want to talk to you about. I got a great idea. Um,
Okay.
so, can you share an instance where a personal hobby or interest led to a professional opportunity for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is TV. I love the essence of telling somebody's story. I don't love the essence of telling a negative story. And I was in hard news, which I learned a lot. That's still being in the people business. But when I was putting somebody's most tragic moment in their life on display, that just didn't help me sleep at night.
No.
So when I moved to the area, I still wanted to be involved in that, but in a storytelling way of positivity, community development, because I knew that Des Moines was on the cusp of so many great things. And so I've actually just started doing that on my own, with Carly's Connections. And I go into businesses local, that I have real connections with and have actually impacted my life, my family's life in a specific way. And I bring in my production team and we do a why video. And I think that's so important. I think call to action is important, but I think your why is even more important. Because for me, I connect on an emotional level, and maybe that's why I love residential real estate. But that's important, right? To know somebody's passion behind why they're doing with their purpose. And so just doing that and creating the awareness of this and keeping it boutique, but real relationships, real conversations has actually led into some pretty cool things hitting the horizon soon.
And the production quality is amazing, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I have a great team. I feel so lucky, and we have a team mentality, which is just wonderful. Yeah, it's so funny. I went to LA searching for everything that was right here in front of me.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
yeah, it is. And sometimes I think you have to do that.
So then, what are your short-term professional goals and even your long-term ones? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back and forth for me, because I'm not for sure what the future is going to bring. I'm always open to new opportunities. However, it will always be in the people business. Um, I've thought about having my own boutique brokerage and having a few select agents that really come alongside my morals and values and integrity and character. That's really important to me, to align myself that way. I've also, I'm hoping in the next couple of years, since I'm not that young anymore, that I have my family and I have our first investment property, whether it be around here or somewhere that we'd like to travel. They say you should work and play at the same place and be able to do both those things. So that has been on my family's and our bucket list and goals to do. And then I think that being able to create a platform here, a digital platform that really does showcase our community and highlight what Des Moines provides for all of our community here and the people, but also what is coming, and maybe the stories that people don't hear every day and the behind the scenes that people are doing to revitalize and restore different areas of Des Moines. I think I'd really like to be a piece of that and have a digital platform to show that.
Coming soon, right?
Coming soon.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate getting to know a little bit more about you there. Now, I think one of my favorite things about this podcast is understanding just kind of your this or that. I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
some rapid fire questions, and I would just, you don't have to expand upon them at all. You can just give me an
Okay.
answer, or you can expand as much as you want. Okay. So, first one we've got is urban loft or suburban home,
Suburban home.
coffee or tea in the morning,
Oh, coffee.
selling a home in spring or fall,
Both.
Virtual, the best time to sell was, never, and the best time to buy was last year, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Virtual home tours or open houses?
Open houses,
Hardwood floors or carpeted rooms?
hardwood floors.
Oh, I got to disagree there.
What about dogs and children?
Well, I don't have dogs. I'm not the
Okay,
animal
see,
lover.
I
So,
think
but
that
but
would make you think a little bit.
yeah, it just echoes so much. Some of these open concept houses. I was talking to my wife about. I'm like, I love this open concept, but I'm getting old. I can't hear anymore. This is way too loud.
Well, they do have things to help with that.
Oh well, maybe I need to look into that thing. Sorry, excuse me. Early bird or night owl for work days?
Night owl.
I figured this out. Like the only reason I'm a night owl now is because my kid goes to bed at 8, 9, somewhere in there,
Mhm.
and then I can stay up and work as long as I have to get everything done. But if I try to get up early in the morning, I might wake up at 5, and in an hour's time, I've gotten very little done, and they're awake and ready to go.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm learning it's got to be nighttime for me.
Family movie nights or exploring local events on weekends?
Family movie nights.
Historical properties or brand new constructions?
Brand new construction.
Homemade meals or adventurous dining out?
Adventurous dining out.
Yoga or running for stress relief?
I should do both, but yoga.
Home office or coffee shop for paperwork?
Home office.
It's not private enough at a coffee shop, I agree.
Yeah.
Summer barbecues or winter gatherings?
Oh, summer barbecues.
Lakes, but you moved back to Iowa from
I
LA. Like you had summer all year round down there.
I blame my now husband because I was planning on going back and then I met him and here I am.
Lakeside retreat or mountain cabin for vacation?
Lakeside retreat.
Smart home technology or traditional home comforts?
Traditional home comforts.
We differ there. I love the smart technology. Private
It's
showings
great.
or what's that?
It's a great plus. I mean, added bonus.
If I can figure out how to use ChatGPT to start my oven, last night I burned dinner. If I could use ChatGPT to just, not screw up pancakes because apparently I had the heat on too high or something, I don't know. That'd be great.
Yeah, but then you lose a little control.
But I'm also more efficient because I get more stuff done.
Okay, so that's like a balancing act, right? It'd be a little nice to have a little bit of both.
Exactly. Yeah. Private showings or community open house events.
Private showings.
And then the last one is kind of asked above, but I got to ask you anyways. Beach day or hiking adventure?
Oh man, beach day with hiking.
Running through that sand is hard, right?
It is. It's a good workout. That's when I run.
Exactly. There you go. All right. So then the last segment here is getting into the trending topic. And you and I spoke about this a little bit ahead of time. But
Mhm.
in today's ever changing real estate market, buyers often face the dilemma of fluctuating mortgage rates, leading to the concept of dating the rate but marrying the house. Can you elaborate on this approach and share your insights on how buyers can navigate the uncertainty of mortgage rates while focusing on finding their dream home? And what strategies can be employed to make the most of their situation regardless of the rates?
Absolutely. I love when somebody says, well, is now the right time to buy? And my question back to them is, I don't know, is it? Because no matter what rates are doing or where the world is going, there are going to be life circumstances that are going to shift you into a change, whether it be selling, and or buying. And it's not up to me or you to decide that for somebody. Does it make sense financially? Is your family moving for a new job, a new position? Is your family growing? Do you need more space? And that's what I ask people when they ask me that question. It's not, is it that, do I have the right time? Is it the right time for you? I mean, I personally, just moved from a home where my rate was 3%, actually 2.99. And, it's not that now. But I think we all have to understand that you can never refinance a purchase price, but you can refinance a rate. And it made sense for my family and I in that time to make this move because we want to grow our family. We were needing more space. And I don't think the right answer is to tell somebody to wait because we all know things can change in an instant. And so, really, when I have that conversation, it's like, let's make a list of why this makes sense for you and why it doesn't, pros and cons. Because it's not up to me, it's not up to, rates, it's not up to anybody else to tell you that this makes sense for you but you. And so I think that's just really where it's been beneficial for me, and I've had success in this, is that I really listen to somebody and I really try to understand their circumstance and make it clear that if this is something you need in your life right now, and this change and a shift for whatever it is for your family, we can refinance the rate. And I have many great lenders, including yourself, that can help do that and make you aware of that. But you will never get this house at the same price. Maybe it could be higher, maybe it could be lower. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But what I do know is that if it makes sense for you and your family, and there is something that is needed for a change or a shift, then I am here to help you and guide you with that and be a part of that experience.
And I think that speaks directly to what you're talking about this being a relationship experience, right?
Mhm.
You mentioned it multiple times. You would love the relationship. We are
Yeah,
here to help the customer make the right decision. And sometimes it's just simply asking the right questions to help them think
that's
about
right.
it differently, right? So,
Absolutely. I mean, we have all of these different, things in front of us at our fingertips every day telling us what we should or shouldn't do. And it's hard sometimes to decipher, what's right and what's wrong, or what's true and what's not. But at the end of the day, I'm not in this, just like you, Kyle, for a transaction. There's a lot of jobs I could go and do and just it be a transaction piece for me. That's not fulfilling to me. Being at the table with somebody and having an open and honest conversation and really trying to have their best interest in mind from start to finish of that conversation, and knowing that they trust me enough to have that conversation and they thought of me, that's fulfilling. And I'm going to do whatever is in their best interest, because I don't care if I sell them a house today or in 6 years. But that relationship to me is what's important, and knowing that I helped put them in the best scenario possible.
love it. Awesome, Carly. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us today. Where can listeners find you or get a hold of you? How can they get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, I still have my good old 319 Southeast Iowa number, and that's plastered over all of my advertising, but that's 319-520-5792 or carlypearsonrealtor.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Carly. And
Thank you so much.
thank you all for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a huge favor. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this podcast wherever you can find downloadable podcasts. Remember, you can also catch the full episode and our content on YouTube as well. Your support helps us grow this podcast and bring more stories like Carly's to your ears and to your views. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, keep curious and keep listening. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.